Life is good in October 2016. My Cleveland Indians are killing it in the World Series, and I'm at one of the most beautiful states in the United States. Look at that back there. It's St. George, Utah, Sand Hollow State Park, and I'm ride testing what I believe is the best UTV you could have right now with the best suspension you could have. It's the 2017 Yamaha YXZ1000R Sport Shift model, but it's the special edition one. So what makes the special edition such a special edition? It's the black and red paint scheme for one. All four corners feature true beadlock wheels, and my favorite part of the machine is this incredible suspension. It's Fox's exclusive for Yamaha X2 dual bypass shock, and I happen to have a cutout here. There's a lot going on here. Today it's almost like the day that fuel injection was invented, as far as I'm considered. It's the technology in this shock is the beginning of a whole new future for suspension. What makes the shock so unique is its adjustability. You've got both compression and rebound, low and high speed adjustability there. Well, you know what I'd like to have is I wish somebody from Fox was here to talk about this.
Hey, I'm Rick from Fox. I can help you with these problems you're having.
Well, that worked out well. All right, because yeah, I'm having a little trouble here. This is the most complex shock I've ever seen. I'm like I said, I feel like I'm holding the new fuel injector for a car, and it's that day.
There's a couple adjusters on it, isn't there?
Yeah, this is a monumental day for shock technology, and what Fox has done with this thing is pretty incredible, because I drove it. That's how I know. You probably know more of what's going on inside.
I've drove that a couple of times. It works pretty awesome.
Yeah, so what is going on here? Besides the kind of adjustability we have, it works.
So some of the cool features of this Fox X2 platform with internal bypass. That's the key to this, is we have all this adjustability, but we also have internal bypass. That is the really cool side of this whole new platform that you got to ride on the Yamaha today. Pretty cool though, huh?
Oh, incredible.
Yeah.
Best ever ride
awesome.
I've ever had.
Awesome. We appreciate that comment, you know. You know, some of the features are, you know, as you talked about the high and low speed, the internal bypass part is what really gives you the good comfort. You know, you understand that part of the shock, the internal bypass?
How's that going? Is that because we're able to distribute oil like we never have in the past?
So when you go to this part of the shock absorber, go to the main body of the shock, and when we go to the internal side of it, we're going inside of the heart of the shock.
Okay.
We're going right in deep. So as you can see, there's two bodies on this shock. There's an inner body and an outer body. This outer body is just like your normal shock would be, but now you get to the heart, to the inner body. So when this shock is going compressed,
okay,
the oil's flowing through the shock, coming up into the adjuster.
Okay.
But what happens is these little shims right here on the side allows oil to bypass. So that's when it comes to this internal bypass side of it. So the oil bypasses, goes back around and comes in this side. So what that allows to happen is it gets soft. It gives you that nice, cushy, plush ride. But all of a sudden, you're going to get to this big, whooped out, hard hit section. What do you think's going to happen then?
Well, you're going to need all of your shock to take that kind of hit.
So what happens then is you go past these zones. There's 3 zones right here. You can see.
Yep.
This part up here, the shock is going deep inside of here. There is no zones. So now all of your main piston valving that you see right here is doing all the work. So the oil isn't bypassing it.
Okay.
That's what helps you to stop bottoming. That's what helps you to give that good confidence feel through the big whoops.
And all that oil moving, I would think there's so much of it moving, it's cooling as well?
Absolutely, you know. It helps cool. It's big reservoir capacity, meaning big oil volume that allows it to run cooler. Again, also with all of this too is the big passages. You know, when you have a big shock, when you have a 7/8 shaft, you need some oil to move through the shock. Well, as you can see on this cutaway, we have some pretty massive passes in here that allows the oil to flow through the shock very easily. Again, less heat.
Now, this is exclusive to Yamaha.
Yes, yes, it is.
Why would Fox do that? You saw something in the YXZ1000R, I guess, to make this exclusively for them.
Yeah.
They came to you early before this was thought of, or what happened there?
So they come to us and they were asking questions and they wanted to know some cool stuff that we were working on and stuff. And we had been working on this platform a little bit, and we thought, what a perfect opportunity to come with Yamaha on it. And they wanted more adjustability. They wanted a cooler shock.
And at that point, you've done something similar, I understand, with the mountain bike industry.
Yes.
And so you just took that and made it a bigger scale, basically.
Exactly. So our mountain bike department and us worked together to come up with a platform. And at that point, they went on their side to making a really small little shock.
Yeah.
That's killer. That works awesome.
Isn't that something? Yeah.
And then we took our side of it, put internal bypass on it, put a much bigger scale, and made this ultimate shock that has ultimate ride with no problem with bottoming ever.
Who would have thought that the mountain bike industry would be leading the power sports? But that's kind of what happened here. And what's happening with EI technology, I understand, is the electronic intelligence, where you're going to be able to put sensors on this stuff and change this on the fly. I mean, we're only in the beginning of what I think is, like I said, the day one of the fuel injection.
We're just starting.
Yes.
Just starting.
And I know I can't say too much probably, but I know you guys got some neat things.
I mean, we're working on some electronic stuff, absolutely. We're doing some cool stuff there, you know. And the cool thing about Fox is you're talking about from a bicycle to a power sports shock to a truck shock.
Right.
Our company is that. We can do it all from a little to the big, to the off-road trophy truck, that it's a 4.5-inch shock, you know.
Right.
That's the cool thing about Fox is we can share information in our whole company and do all these cool things because we have this company with all these capabilities.
You've been in the power sports industry for a while. Do you remember the day when we used to shelve our shocks?
Yes, I do.
You'd go buy aftermarket?
Yes, I do.
If anyone shelves this shock, they should be shot.
There's no reason to shelf that shock.
This is better than something you could get at an aftermarket shop, I would think.
Exactly.
This is aftermarket shocks on a OEM dealer showroom floor.
It is an aftermarket shock.
Well, man, thank you for coming and explaining it, rescuing me there. And
not a problem.
Yeah, as far as how the machine works, it's phenomenal. I mean it. You've got to drive one of these things to believe it. As you can see in some of the video here, we're hitting square edge stuff at 70 miles an hour, and it's soaking it up like it's not there. Through the whoops here, it just floats. There's so much adjustability that today we had machines with different colors stuck on the dashboard so we can see some of the changes you guys made to give us a small example of what somebody could do. Plus the spring rate, that's adjustable too for the spring.
So preload and crossover. So that can allow you to give more ride height, less ride height with the preload. The crossover will allow you to help for bottom resistance or give you more comfort with that. It's also adjustable on these shocks too. So
for the guy that wants hardcore extreme racing shocks to the guy that wants to go out and just ride around with his cooler and enjoy the day.
Just putt around and have
he
some
could
fun.
have Cadillac shocks.
Exactly.
Where there's no hard hit.
Exactly.
Beautiful job. Thank you, Rick.
Thank you for having me.
So to sum it up, behind me is what I feel is the best UTV you can buy, paired up with the best suspension you could buy. Hey, why not click down here and like us, and click over to utvscene.com for a complete review of the new YXZ1000R Sport Shift model.